who needs to hear this, okay? But I just want to say that just because you are good, phenomenal even, just because you are phenomenal at your job, that does not guarantee that you will make staff. What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. And you already know when I have my Air Force shirt on, it is time for an informational type video. So upon getting into the new year, I wanted to kind of start taking YouTube seriously again. And when I was scrolling through like Air Force content that's on YouTube currently, I couldn't help but notice that there was nothing very recent about the promotion standards nowadays. And all the videos I did see were at least 2 years old, which is crazy because a lot has changed in the past 2 years when it comes to promotions. If you are clicking on this video because you are a senior airman who is testing this year or who has a rateable EPB, I'm sorry to tell you that this video may not be of help to you. And I only say that because I know as staffs, we are currently writing our senior airman EPBs as of right now. So I don't know how much time you would be able to, add bullets to your EPB at this point. But if you just so happen to not make staff this year, don't think that this video won't be helpful. But if you are an A1C or a new senior airman who may be coming up on trying to build up your EPB for when you are supposed to test, I am here to provide you a guide on how to make staff your first try. Now, disclaimer, I'm not sure if this will apply necessarily, but please be in mind that when I'm speaking, I'm a maintainer. So a lot of the things may just be my maintainer brain, and I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure for maintenance, it's a little bit different as far as EPB writing goes, or like promotions go, or bullets or anything like that, as opposed to somebody who's maybe in services or finance or, those other career fields that I'm not really sure how you guys go about promoting and like bullet writing. So if I'm ever talking about something and you have no idea what I'm talking about, just know that it's probably a maintenance term or something that applies to maintenance in some way. Also, if you are a staff or above and you realize that I have missed something, or if you have any helpful tips or information that you can add, or if I'm wrong about something completely and you just want to go ahead and correct me in the comments, please do so below. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Now, the main difference in the promotion rates today as opposed to 2 to 3 years ago is the change from using the EPR system versus the EPB system. EPRs stand for Enlisted Performance Report versus EPBs, which stands for Enlisted Performance Brief. In my opinion, I preferred the EPR system just for the simple fact that you could add a lot more things and have them count towards promotion. So for example, on my EPR, I had education, I had volunteer work, I had work bullets that counted towards promotion, versus the EPB system, which, thinking big Air Force brain, I get why it works better. EPB system is a lot more competitive. So rather than just getting all your bullets all in one and just adding them to your EPR and just having everything count towards promotion, the EPB system forces you to pick your heaviest hitters, the best of the best bullets you have, and submitting them for your EPB to get rated. The EPB system also looks more towards how are you prepared for the next rank. Whereas the EPR system kind of did, but I feel like the EPB puts more focus on it as far as what are bullets that you're achieving as a senior airman of that of a staff. So like I was in charge of leading a shift and, leading teams as a senior airman. Shift leading is typically a staff sergeant or a tech sergeant position. And as a senior airman, you may be put in those positions to see, for your leadership to see, are you capable of doing these staff sergeant abilities? Because it makes sense, because at that point, it's gonna look like, okay, how do you handle this, and how would you handle this as a staff? How are we gonna trust that you'll be able to handle these roles as a staff sergeant to, push you to promotion if you can't even handle it as a senior airman? Does that make sense? Well, really, the EPB system is it's a lot more competitive. You can't just do a bunch of things to put on your EPB. Like, they're gonna be looking for how are you prepared to make the next rank. Now, because of all of that, now we've started to realize that volunteering has decreased to an all-time low because there's not really a space for it in the EPBs unless you created a volunteer opportunity and like did something for your squadron. Like, nobody is volunteering nowadays. Like, I don't know if this video is gonna go as big as I think it is, and if someone can like forward this up to the commanders of whatever, or chief master sergeant of the Air Force, I don't know who this got to go to, but if somebody could let them know, to whoever created the EPB system, that nobody is volunteering anymore because of this. Listen, it's gonna sound bad, but I know with the EPR system, a lot of people only volunteer to have something to put on their EPR, and now that it kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit doesn't really count on the EPB system, nobody is volunteering like that. Another thing that kind of sucks about the EPB system is that, like I said before, whereas on the EPR system, you could put a whole bunch of education, volunteer work that you did. On the EPB system, it's really just looking at how did you help your shop? How did you help your base, your MAJCOM? How did you help Big Air Force? So at this point, I'm going up for tech. And back when I was in Alaska, I started to work on my master's degree and I got a couple credits. When it came time to write my EPB though, I couldn't even put it on there. I couldn't even put that I did education to fulfill that bullet, because me majoring in psychology, which I know, please don't come for me about majoring in psychology. Listen, we're basically like, okay, you're getting your master's in psychology, okay, but what did you do with that degree? What did you do with that class? What did you do with with what you learned essentially? And me working in maintenance, majoring in psychology does not do anything for us. Like, majoring in psychology has nothing to do with fixing aircraft, okay? So unfortunately, I wasn't even allowed to put that bullet on my EPB, as far as what my supervisor told me. So just keep that in mind when you decide to fulfill that education bullet. If what you're majoring in or the classes you're taking does not directly impact your shop or your career field or anything like that, you might not be able to put that on your EPB. Now, I will eventually get back to the EPB conversation a little bit later in this video, but as of right now, I want to talk about how to make staff. What are the steps you can take to make staff first try? And the first tip I have is to study, study, study. Depending on how good of a test taker you are, this may be the easiest way to make staff for you. Literally, just study your butt off, take the test, and score high enough above the cutoff, and you're in. That's literally it. And you're probably like, Diamond, oh my God, what do I study? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go on the App Store. You're gonna type in PDG, and it might be called PDG Promote, I think, as of right now. You're gonna download that app, and that app is going to have everything Air Force knowledge related that you could possibly have on your test. I'm talking Air Force history, customs and courtesies, AFIs, everything Air Force related will be on that app. Now, I don't know how much it costs today because I've already had the app for a couple of years, but I'm pretty sure when I downloaded the app, I'm pretty sure there was a free version and then there was like a $20 or $30 one. Buy the $30 one, okay? Buy the $20 or $30 one. I know you're like, $30 is crazy for an app, but I promise you, it has everything you need. And you can download flashcards on there. You can take like quizzes and tests to see your progress. It is so helpful for learning Air Force knowledge. A lot of that stuff that I did study, I would have never known not downloading the app. Also, there's an SKT portion of certain career fields who test. So not only will you take a PDG version, which is Air Force knowledge, SKT is gonna be your job knowledge. I know for maintenance specifically, we do have SKT. I don't know, I heard that services has SKT. I don't know if medical jobs have it. I don't know. If you're watching this, you should know in your career field if y'all have SKT or not. But basically, it's all of your job knowledge. And essentially, when you first get to your base out of tech school, they will give you something called CDCs, which this is all the SKT knowledge that is about your job. Your first couple months on your first duty station, you'll more than likely be in CDCs until you test out with the EOC. I know when I took my CDCs, they told us to keep our CDCs because we're gonna need it when we test for staff and tech. I do still have my CDCs. So if you are up for testing this year, I would highly recommend reviewing them, just seeing what kind of questions could be on your test and so on. Also, fun fact, I don't know if you guys know, but for LO/ASM, we have since merged. We have had a career merge. LO and ASM have merged into just ASM. So we are now aircraft structural maintenance. We are all one career field. Now, if you are trying to make rank, whether that be staff or tech, I am telling you, this year and next year are the best years to make it. I'm not saying it's gonna be the easiest, but it will be the best years to make it. And why? Because of the merge, we are only responsible for testing PDG. So SKT does not matter for this year and next year, for those who are testing. We are solely tested on Air Force knowledge. So if you needed any more reason to download that $20 to $30 app, now would be the time to do so. Now, the second way to help you towards promotion, I wanted to say that will guarantee you to make staff, but it might not necessarily be true. Also, this method is a lot more difficult to get than just to study, and that is to get stratted. Now, to receive a stratification, that is receiving extra points towards your promotion. Now, back to what I was saying with the EPB system, there are two people that are involved with the process. The rater, which is going to be your supervisor who will be writing your EPB, and the ratee, which is you. Will submit your strongest bullets to your supervisor, and they will pretty much rack and stack them where they see fit. So there are 4 main categories for the EPBs: executing the mission, leading people, managing resources, and improving the unit. Your bullets pretty much have to fall in these 4 categories. So like I was saying, with me not being able to put that I started my master's degree, the reason why it doesn't count is because majoring in psychology doesn't fall under executing the mission of the base. It doesn't allow me to lead people. It hasn't helped me manage resources in my shop. It hasn't helped me improve my unit just yet. So once your EPBs are written and sent up the chain, eventually they will do kind of a rack and stack. I think it goes to your direct leadership first, and they pretty much rack and stack who they would recommend to receive the strat. And then I think it's ultimately up to the commander, who will basically overlook everybody's EPBs and pick out which ones they want to give the strat to. Also to mention, they only give out a certain number of strats every promotion cycle. Now, to break down how strats work, like I said, they are extra points towards your promotion. So on top of the score that you get when you test, a strat will add more points towards that. To break it down, everyone starts out at a baseline. Everyone gets a 3 automatically, which is just promote. That is the promote standard. They get a 3. Your first time testing, it's going to start out at 200 extra points towards promotion. Each time you test after that, if you don't make staff that time, the number gets lower. Now, where the strats come in, those are given out as 4s and 5s. So 3s are just promote, 4s are must promote, and 5s are promote now. So 5 is the highest strat that someone can get. 4s are worth 220 extra points your first time testing. 5s are worth 250 extra points. I will put up an image of the breakdown that I saw online just so that you guys can pause to read. Now, the biggest misconception about strats is just because you get a strat, that does not guarantee that you will make staff. Just like if you don't get a strat, that doesn't mean that you won't make staff. You still have to test well enough and meet the cutoff. Also, I don't know if this is just my base or just my shop this year, but I received information that they were no longer giving out 5s anymore, and that 4 is the highest strat that you can get now. If someone has heard that, please comment below and tell me if I'm right or wrong. I hope that's not the case, because that's really unfortunate. But if anyone has heard that too, please let me know down below. Another thing that I learned is that your medals and ribbons also count as points towards promotions. Now, obviously I knew that they counted to some degree, but I didn't know how much they counted, like the number of points that count towards each one. I found this breakdown online that shows the types of ribbons, medals, and decorations that count towards promotion and how many points each one is worth. Pause to read. So yeah, so if you manage to obtain any of those, that is phenomenal. Now, the only thing that sucks about all of this is even if you have, the right medals and decorations and you find out that you receive a strat, you won't even know what you need to test until like 2 weeks before they drop the results. Because we won't even know the percentages, like the promotion rates, until like 2 weeks before staff results are announced. When I talk about anxiety, You will have already tested, you will have already known if you got stratted. So you'll have to wait months before you even realize if you made it or not. I will say my first time testing, I did receive a 4 on my EPR. I will say that I feel like I'm a good candidate to listen to when it comes to this kind of stuff because I did make stat first try and I did receive a strat my first try. So I'm not trying to say nothing, but I'm trying to say something. Now, this last little bit that I will leave you with is the best advice that I received when I was in ALS, and that is that you will make rank when you are supposed to. 100%. When you are meant to make it, you will make it. Don't stress if you don't make it your first or second try. When you are meant to make it, you will. But that is it for this video. This is my second time filming this. So for that, I'd say go ahead and like and subscribe. If you want to see more informational and educational videos like this, if you guys have any other questions, please let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.